God says, stop ignoring the signs, His real intentions are about to show. You have felt the quiet tug in your spirit, the subtle friction that you tried to brush away, the moments where your peace felt disturbed for no explainable reason. You have been sensing something shifting, something underneath the surface, something you could not name but could not silence either. God has been whispering, trying to catch your attention, nudging your heart in ways you kept pushing aside because you didn't want to think the worst of someone you cared about. But God says, the signs were never meant to scare you. They were meant to prepare you. They were meant to protect you. They were meant to lift the veil from what you could not see. There are moments in life where you cling to people out of hope, out of the belief that love can change them, out of the belief that loyalty will be reciprocated, out of the belief that time will reveal goodness. But God says, time is now revealing truth. Not to hurt you, but to heal you. Not to break you, but to free you. Not to make you lose, but to show you what was never yours in the first place. You didn't imagine the inconsistency. You didn't imagine the distance. You didn't imagine the emotional shift, the sudden coldness, the strange discomfort that rose inside you whenever words didn't match actions. These were signs from God, signs you were not meant to overlook. God has watched the way you have loved. The way you have poured, the way you have tried, the way you have given chances even when your heart was tired. He has seen you choose compassion over resentment, patience over anger, understanding over confrontation. But God says, your gentleness is not a weakness. Your love is not foolishness. Your loyalty is not blindness. Your kindness did not blind you, it revealed them. And now the truth that was hidden is coming closer to the surface. You think you're losing someone, but God says you are gaining clarity. You think something is falling apart, but God says something is being exposed before it hurts you deeper than it already has. There were moments where you told yourself, maybe I'm overthinking. But God says you were not overthinking, you were discerning. You were seeing glimpses of truth that were too painful to acknowledge at that time. You felt something wrong because something was wrong. You felt something shifting because something shifted. You sensed inconsistencies because inconsistencies were there. God says, I will no longer allow you to be misled. I will no longer allow you to settle for half intentions, half love, half respect. You deserve clarity. You deserve honesty. You deserve someone whose heart is aligned with their words, someone whose actions match their promises, someone who does not love only when it's convenient. You deserve someone who does not confuse you. Someone who does not hold you in emotional limbo. Someone who does not benefit from your presence while offering uncertainty in return. There are people you try to understand, but God says their intentions were never meant to be understood, they were meant to be revealed. And right now, revelation is coming. Their true intentions, their real motives, their hidden thoughts, the truth behind the way they treated you, all of it is coming to light. God says, you won't have to guess anymore. You won't have to question anymore. You won't have to carry the emotional weight of confusion. I am removing the fog. I am clearing the illusion. I am breaking the disguise. You have been praying for peace. But peace cannot exist where deception hides. You have been asking God for clarity, but clarity comes when truth is revealed. You have been asking for guidance, and God is answering by showing you what you ignored, overlooked, excused, or tolerated. Sometimes the answer to your prayer is not a blessing, sometimes the answer is exposure. And right now, God is exposing intentions, not to shame anyone, but to protect you from further emotional damage. You have poured yourself into someone who did not pour equally into you. You gave effort, understanding, commitment, patience, yet they offered confusion, inconsistency, and selective affection. God says, the imbalance was never meant to be permanent. I allowed you to feel the difference so you could value yourself more. I allowed you to sense the emotional gap so you could understand you were worth more than what you were receiving. I allowed the signs to intensify because it was time for you to stop ignoring what was draining your soul. There were conversations that left you uneasy, actions that didn't align with explanations, emotions that were one-sided, moments where their behavior shifted depending on what they wanted. You justified it. You minimized it. You told yourself things would eventually make sense. But God says, I am the one bringing sense now. I am the one bringing truth. I am the one lifting the veil. I am the one stepping between you and harm. I am the one interrupting what could have broken your spirit later. Stop asking yourself what you did wrong. Stop blaming yourself for their lack of clarity. Stop believing you were not enough. Stop thinking you could have changed the outcome by trying harder. God says, nothing you did was wasted, nothing you gave was foolish, nothing you felt was wrong. You loved with sincerity. You cared with depth. You believed with hope. And that is not a flaw, that is your strength. Their heart could not match your capacity, and that is not your failure, that is their limitation. God is about to show you something. A truth you didn't ask for but needed. A revelation that will finally give your heart the closure it has been searching for. A moment that will connect the dots, answer the questions, and release you from the emotional weight you've been silently carrying. God is preparing to show you the true fabric of their intentions, unfiltered, unmasked, unhidden. But God also says, do not fear the truth. The truth is not your enemy. The truth is your freedom. The truth is your awakening. The truth is the doorway to the next season I have prepared for you. You were stuck because you lacked clarity. Once clarity comes, movement begins. Once truth appears, peace returns. Once revelation arrives, confusion ends. You have outgrown situations that are still pretending to fit you. You have spiritually matured beyond relationships that only meet you at the surface. God is elevating you into a season where intentions must be genuine, hearts must be aligned, and relationships must be mutual. The people who are entering your future are not people who will hide their motives. They will speak truthfully, love openly, and stand consistently. But before the right ones can enter, God must remove the ones whose intentions are unstable. This exposure is not punishment, it is protection. God is preventing your heart from being entangled with someone who does not value it. You deserve someone who can love with transparency, with intention, with depth. Someone who sees your worth, not someone who benefits from your presence without offering emotional clarity. God says, I saw what you didn't see. I heard the thoughts they never spoke. I witnessed the conversations they had behind your back. I saw their indecision, their hidden motives, their wavering loyalty. And because I love you, I am stopping this before it destroys you. You will not walk blindly anymore. You will not love blindly anymore. You will not trust blindly anymore. I am opening your eyes. There is something bigger waiting for you. Something aligned with your spirit. Something that matches your heart. Something that will not make you question your worth. But to receive it, you must let go of the illusion you held on to. You must accept the truth God is showing you. You must believe that loss is sometimes divine redirection. God says you have been carrying emotions you didn't know how to express, because every time you tried to articulate what you felt, the other person dismissed it, minimized it, or redirected the blame back toward you. You began to question your own sensitivity, your own intuition, your own ability to perceive right from wrong. But God says, your intuition was accurate. Your sensitivity was spiritual. Your discernment was my voice. I did not allow your spirit to rest because the situation was not aligned with my purpose for you. Every moment of uneasiness was a signal, every emotional disturbance was a divine alarm, every hesitation you felt was the Holy Spirit trying to protect you from something that looked safe but wasn't. There were nights you stayed awake wondering why you felt disconnected from someone you cared about. You blamed yourself for feeling too much or expecting too much, but God says you were not expecting too much, you were expecting honesty. You were expecting consistency. You were expecting the same level of respect you were giving. That is not too much. That is normal. That is healthy. And the fact that they could not meet that standard is not a reflection of your value, it is a reflection of their emotional immaturity. God says, I am not exposing their intentions to embarrass them or elevate you above them. I am exposing their intentions to restore your dignity. You have spent too long internalizing confusion that was never yours to carry. You have tried to fit yourself into emotional spaces they never defined. You kept giving clarity to someone who kept giving you uncertainty. You gave answers when they gave you silence. You gave your heart while they only gave the parts that benefited them. And even then, you continued to hope they would change. But God says, change is not your responsibility. Truth is my responsibility. You kept waiting for their actions to match their words, but God says you were waiting for something that was never aligned with their intentions. Their words sounded right, but their heart was not invested the way you believed it was. And now, the truth is unfolding. Slowly, steadily, unmistakably. God is allowing their inconsistencies to become visible, their contradictions to surface, their hidden motives to rise where you can finally see them. It is not a coincidence. It is a divine unveiling. There is a reason you feel emotionally drained around them. There is a reason your heart feels more confused than comforted. There is a reason the relationship didn't bring peace, only questions. God says, peace is the language of my presence. Confusion is the sign of misalignment. When something is from me, it does not drain you, it builds you. When someone is meant for you, they do not make you guess their intentions, they make them obvious. When love is true, it is stable, consistent, and reciprocal. You kept trying to understand why someone could act warm one moment and distant the next. You kept wondering why their feelings seemed conditional, why their affection depended on convenience, why their commitment wavered when you needed certainty. God says, they wanted the benefits of your heart without taking responsibility for it. They wanted the comfort of your presence without offering the stability your soul deserves. They wanted you close enough to feel cared for but far enough to avoid accountability. That is not love. That is emotional advantage, and God says, I am ending that cycle now. You prayed for truth, and truth is what I am giving you. Not the soft truth you hoped for, but the clear truth you need. Because until the truth is revealed, you cannot walk into the next season I have prepared. You cannot meet who is truly meant for you if you are still emotionally attached to someone who is only meant to teach you. You cannot step into wholeness if you keep accepting half-hearted love. You cannot experience reciprocity if you keep investing in someone who never intended to match your effort. This unveiling will not be comfortable. It may sting. It may shock you. It may break something inside you temporarily. But God says, it will save you from a deeper heartbreak later. This is a temporary wound to prevent a permanent scar. This is a divine intervention disguised as emotional disappointment. This is protection wearing the mask of loss. You will thank me later for what feels painful now. You will understand later why I removed what you tried to hold on to. You will see later that this was not rejection, this was revelation. God has watched you give your best to someone who gave you uncertainty. God has watched you fight for connection while they fought to maintain distance. God has watched you try to build something stable while they built excuses. God has watched your tears, your loyalty, your confusion, your hope, your silence. And now God says, no more. No more one-sided effort. No more emotional limbo. No more waiting for someone to choose you when they were never meant to carry the position your heart gave them. This season is about clarity. This season is about awakening. This season is about you seeing with spiritual eyes, not emotional ones. God is shifting your vision. You will see behaviors differently. You will interpret energy differently. You will discern motives quickly. You will no longer be fooled by promises without consistency. You will no longer ignore your intuition to protect someone else's potential. You will no longer shrink your needs to avoid losing someone who was never truly invested. God says, I am restoring your sight. I am strengthening your emotions. I am raising your standards. I am protecting your heart. And I am revealing truth, truth that will lead you to alignment, not confusion. But there is something else God wants you to know: you were not wrong for loving. You were not wrong for believing in someone. You were not wrong for hoping for the best. Your love was pure, even if their intentions were not. Your loyalty was sincere, even if theirs was selective. Your heart was genuine, even if theirs was undecided. Never question the value of your love because someone did not appreciate it. God says, someone is coming who will not hide their intentions. Someone who will not make you guess. Someone who will not be confused about you. Someone who will recognize your worth immediately and will love you with clarity, not hesitation. Someone who will speak truth, follow through with action, and honor you with consistency. Someone whose intentions align with mine. But before that person enters your life, I must clear away the one whose intentions do not align with your future. The person you are holding on to cannot go where I am taking you. Their presence would drain you. Their inconsistency would distract you. Their emotional instability would delay you. Their unclear intentions would confuse you. And confusion cannot enter the season I am preparing for you. You are stepping into a time where you will discern spirits easily. Where the intentions of people will be visible to you, where you will sense truth before it is spoken. God is sharpening you, refining you, strengthening you, preparing you. You have been through enough emotional warfare to know what does not feel right. You are no longer in a place where you will settle for half love. Your spirit is awakening. God says, I am about to reveal the final piece. Something that will make everything click. A truth that will confirm what you suspected but tried to ignore. A moment of clarity that will free your heart completely. You will not be confused much longer. You will not be waiting much longer. The truth is coming, and when it comes, it will release you. God says you have reached the turning point, the moment where truth is no longer hidden behind uncertainty, where clarity is no longer a distant hope, where revelation is no longer subtle. You have stepped into the moment I have been preparing your heart for, the moment where everything becomes clear. The signs you ignored will make sense. The emotions you buried will rise with understanding. The confusion you carried will fall away like dust. This is the moment where I release you from the emotional chains you never realized were binding you. You tried so hard to hold on to the version of this person you created in your mind. You saw their potential, not their intention. You loved the possibility of who they could become, not the reality of who they were showing you. You believed their words because your heart was sincere, but God says their words were never the truth, their actions were. And their actions revealed everything you tried not to see. I will make sure you see it now. Not to shame them, not to break you, but to close this chapter properly. You have cried enough tears over someone who was never emotionally present in the ways you deserved. You have sacrificed your peace, doubted your intuition, and stretched yourself beyond your emotional capacity trying to keep something alive that was not meant to grow. But God says, I am your healer, and healing begins with truth. You deserve a love that does not make you question your worth. You deserve someone who chooses you openly, not secretly. Someone who loves you consistently, not conditionally. Someone who shows up, not someone who withdraws. Someone whose love brings peace to your spirit, not stress to your heart. And I will not let you settle for anything less. This is why I am stepping into this situation. This is why the signs have intensified. This is why the illusion is breaking. This is why their real intentions are surfacing. You have been praying for clarity, and clarity requires revelation. It requires exposure. It requires seeing people exactly as they are, not as you hoped they would be. And although this may hurt temporarily, God says the truth will not destroy you, it will free you. You will look back one day and realize that this unveiling was one of the greatest blessings of your life. It saved you time, protected your purpose, preserved your heart, and prepared you for the love that is actually aligned with you. A love that won't hide. A love that won't confuse. A love that won't make you feel like you're fighting alone. A love that is mutual, spiritual, deep, honest, and intentional. But before that love arrives, I must clean the space in your heart. I must close the door to the one whose intentions were not pure, not consistent, not aligned with your future. I am allowing their truth to show so you can let go. I am allowing their actions to expose them so you can move forward. You asked me to lead your life, and this is how I lead. By removing what blocks you. By revealing what distracts you. By breaking what binds you. By exposing what endangers you emotionally. You are not losing someone, you are losing confusion. You are losing uncertainty. You are losing inconsistency. You are losing emotional instability. What you are gaining is clarity, strength, direction, spiritual elevation, and emotional freedom. You are finally stepping into a season where you no longer tolerate what drains your soul. God says, I know this is not easy. I know your heart tried to believe the best. I know you carried more than anyone realized. I know you held on because you loved deeply. But deep love should not keep you in shallow relationships. Your heart has depth, and it needs someone who can meet you at that depth, not someone who swims only at the surface. I am proud of you for trying. I am proud of you for loving. I am proud of you for being patient, for giving, for hoping, for believing. But now I am asking you to be proud of yourself enough to let go. You did your part. Your heart was sincere. That is all you were responsible for. What they did with your sincerity is no longer your burden. The truth will reveal itself clearly. The signs will become undeniable. The final moment of clarity is coming, and when it comes, it will break the last thread that emotionally tied you to them. You will walk away not with bitterness, but with wisdom. Not with anger, but with understanding. Not with pain, but with direction. God says, soon you will feel the shift. Soon the heaviness will lift. Soon the confusion will stop. Soon the emotional noise will fade. Soon your heart will rest again. Soon everything will make sense. Soon you will see why I removed who I removed. Soon you will understand why I didn't let certain things work. Soon you will thank me for saying no, even when you wanted me to say yes. And then, when your heart is clear, when your spirit is steady, when you have released what was never meant for you, I will bring someone who carries what your soul has been praying for. Someone who will understand your heart without you having to explain it. Someone who will match your effort, your energy, your honesty. Someone who will love you the way I always intended for you to be loved, with freedom, with clarity, with transparency, with loyalty, and with peace. But it starts here, with truth, with revelation, with letting go, with finally seeing what I have been trying to show you. This is not the end of your story. This is the end of your confusion, and the beginning of your clarity.